Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Fondjoy DC Cinematic Universe Margot Robbie Harley Quinn. I want to give a huge thanks to a long-term subscriber for hooking me up with a bunch of Fondjoy figures to review. It is much appreciated. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, the top, DC, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad. Officially licensed DC product, 1-scale model Harley Quinn by Fondjoy. Here's the front of the box, Harley Quinn holding her bat. On the side, Harley Quinn. Other side, Harley Quinn. At the back, here's the figure with all of her accessories. And there's her barcode, if it helps. So with no further ado, let's open her up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here she is with all the accessories laid out. We have a display stand, 4 alternate hands, totaling 6 interchangeable hands, 2 heads, a couple of different spiked bracelets, a bat, her hammer, and a revolver. Before we tailor all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie from the DC Cinematic Universe, specifically from Suicide Squad. This is a Fondjoy figure, and honestly, she's enormous, and she looks kind of rough. She's not horrible, but definitely not to par with the current Fondjoy or McFarlane offerings. I got her to complete my Fondjoy collection. Hopefully they'll make a 2.0 in the future, but for now, this will do. So let's take a closer look. So, start with her face here. Like I said, it's not horrible, but it looks like it's Harley Quinn and really a very soft Margot Robbie. Like I said, it's not horrible, but it's not great. It's maybe good or just below. The strands of hair look fine. The actual hair looks decent. We got the pink and the teal on one side. The top, a little bit dirty. The sculpt is kind of bland. Now the face itself, the lips and the eyes kind of scream Margot Robbie. A little bit of sort of tattoos on the side there. But something's just really soft and off about it. She has that sort of, I don't know, collar around her neck. Her shirt says Daddy's Little Monster. She's got the holster for a pistol, which does not come out, but she has a separate pistol for her to hold. Glove on one hand, not the other. These are her gripping trigger hands. Her shorts have a decent amount of texturing. Got the belt, which I'm having trouble getting it to sort of stay with a diamond in the middle. She's got the fishnets on, and they seem to be sort of sculpted. I can feel it's not just painted on there. Plenty of tattoos on her legs. Double jointed knees. Now her boots, they look hideous. You can literally see the fishnets through them, and there's no way it's supposed to be like that. I mean, I guess that's to help the articulation, but it just looks awful. High heels. Her butt looks pretty flat and unimpressive. And then when you move her legs, you can totally see the gaps there. Drop down hips, they look bad, but you can push them up and they look quite a bit better. Gaps in the shoulder, they could use some sort of little butterfly rings, something like that. They don't look bad when you push them up there, but when you move them around, they can easily look bad. It is something you can fix by posing her properly. Same with the legs. But God, those boots just look hideous. And she's super, super tall. But the likeness, I got mixed feelings on it. Like I said, it's not horrible. But definitely not great. Maybe the lower end of good. And I'll say the figure just doesn't look or feel all that good as a whole. The proportions are not too bad. The articulation is not that great. All the little details, the texturing, and all just sort of feels like a cheap figure upsized. And a closer look at her face and head sculpt, it's definitely growing on me. I mean, look at this. I can totally see Margot Robbie in here. The likeness might be kind of soft. It's kind of like Wonder Woman. When I opened Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn out of the package, I thought, oh, this is awful. This looks like shit. And they both kind of grew on me. The more I look at the faces, the more I do see the likeness. It's soft. It's not perfect. Drop me a line in the comments below. What do you think? Do you see Margot Robbie here, or do you think it just looks like crap? I think it could be better, but it's not as bad as what some people say. The hairline looks a little rough connecting to the head. But the eyes, the lips, the tattoos, they all look pretty decent. And then here's the figure, broken down as far as she can go, with all of her removable parts detached. Now let's check out her accessories, starting off with the boring stuff, her display stand. So here's her display stand. It comes in 2 separate pieces. When put together, it looks like this. We have the large circular base. It says Harley Quinn and has the diamond logo on it. Then it has this post coming out, And the post has rotation at the bottom, hinged at the bottom, hinged in the middle, hinged at the top, rotation at the top, and then it has this clamp to hold your figure in place. Now let's look at her hands. She has a total of 6 of them. 4 left hands and 2 right hands, and honestly, she has one of her left hands with no glove on it, and I'm kind of guessing that maybe that was supposed to be a right hand. I don't know. It's a regular gripping hand, just like the one behind it, which doesn't have a matching ungloved hand, and I don't recall her switching the gloves on and off throughout the film, so I'm just guessing that's some sort of weird factory error that mirrored a hand from a right hand to a left hand by some sort of mistake, but I very well could be wrong. Here she is with her first pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands with trigger fingers for her gun. And here's her second pair of hands. These are a pair of open, outstretched hands. I call these some default hands. They would look good relaxed at her sides. Here's an alternate left hand. This is a gripping hand. And she has one more left hand. This is another gripping hand, just like the last one, except it has no glove on it. And I personally think it's just some sort of error. She even has the same sort of ring that hand has, which pretty much just secures me that somehow they screwed up and printed a mirrored version of this hand, left hand, instead of a right hand. But whatever. Just sort of matches the rest of the figure. Kind of feels like a bootleg at times. Now we have her heads. She has 2 heads, one with a normal smiling expression and one with a screaming expression. She also has this sort of collar for her neck that's removable and says pudding. Here she is with her first head. This one has the regular smiling expression. And then here with her second head, this has the screaming expression. Now let's look at her bracelets. She has 2 sets. One looks more like a traditional bracelet and says yes on it, and the other one is a spiked bracelet. Here she is with the first set of bracelets. These are the more traditional kind that says yes on them. And then her alternate spiked bracelets. And then for her weapons, she has 3 of them. Her mallet, her bat, and the revolver. The mallet has Harley Quinn diamonds all over it, a smiley face on either side. Her bat, it's a plain wooden bat, and has some diamonds near the base, also has some wrapper to hold. Then we have this little revolver, which is sort of gold, silver, and has a white handle with Harley Quinn diamond on it as well. Here she is holding her bat. Keep in mind you have to use the gripping hand with the trigger finger to hold it because that's the only gripping hand on her right hand. She can hold it with either one hand or with 2. And here she is holding her mallet, which she has to hold with her left hand because it's the only one that has the traditional smaller gripping hand because of that weird mistake with her right hand. And then here, holding her revolver, pointing it right at you. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and her accessories, let's check out her height. These Fondjoy figures are labeled as 8-inch scale, but they're really closer to 7-inch scale. They're a little bit larger, but since McFarlane did not give us a Margot Robbie Harley Quinn in this outfit from Suicide Squad, this is the best we're going to get. From bottom to the top of her head, standing about 7.5 inches tall, which can translate to about 19 centimeters. And for articulation, we'll start with her head. Of course, you're going to rotate side to side. She can look up and down about that much, not too much. Can tilt her head at least a little bit from side to side. Shoulders on a ball joint goes about 90 degrees. Up, down, around. She does have these drop down shoulders that look hideous like this, but you can just pop them back in place. She has double jointed elbows. There's no bicep cut, and just a minor bit of rotation at the shoulder there. Her wrists can rotate, and they're hinged as well. Torso, she's got a ball joint here that cannot rotate side to side. It can go forward and back a decent amount. And in her waist, can go to side about that far. Forward or back, barely at all. So pretty limited in either one of those joints. Legs, complete of splits. Ball joints, drop down hips that look absolutely hideous like this. But just for articulation purposes, you can push them right back up there for posing. Her ass is just flat and non-existent. The SH Figure Arts one had a way nicer butt. Double jointed knees. There's a good amount of rotation up in the thigh. And then the ankles. And my God, those boots are just so bad. I understand why they would make it like that. God, it looks like shit. Forward and back. Rotate. Tilt, rock. And that's what we got. Here's Harley Quinn standing in the streets of Gotham in front of her purple Lamborghini. And I realize that it's not purple. And it's not a Lamborghini. And it's far too small for her. But it's really all I got. And here she is in front of another car, which is also not purple, but maybe a little bit closer. Also not a Lamborghini, and also too small next to her. Which one of these vehicles looks better behind her? Ignore the scale. Drop me a line in the comments below. Let me know which one you prefer. Now stick around. Next is some other action figures. Starting off with some other Margot Robbie Harley Quinn figures. Here she is, next to the McFarlane DC Multiverse. Margot Robbie Harley Quinn figures. One from Birds of Prey, one from the Suicide Squad, which is the sequel to Suicide Squad. And you can see she's significantly taller than them. Not a full inch taller, but at least a solid half-inch taller. She's the closest thing to this version of Harley Quinn you can have with your McFarlane figures, but still, definitely too large. I would not call her 8-inch scale. I wouldn't call her 7-inch scale, but something in between. Next, with the Mezco Margot Robbie Harley Quinn. And here she is, next to the Mattel versions of this Harley Quinn. Then, with the Mafex versions of this Harley Quinn. And finally, next to the SH Figure Arts versions of this Harley Quinn. My God, that is a huge size difference. Here's Harley Quinn, next to the other members of the Suicide Squad from the film. Unfortunately, no company has made these figures in the 7-inch scale, much less whatever this Fondjoy figure is. Most of these figures are by Mattel. Slipknot there is a custom. Deadshot is by Mafex. We have Rick Flag, Slipknot, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Killer Croc, Captain Boomerang, El Diablo, and Katana. And there is absolutely no Jared Leto figures done in the 7-inch scale, so nothing that will come even close to matching with this Fondjoy Harley Quinn. Now check her out, next to some other Fondjoy figures. Here she is, next to both the regular and black suit versions of the Henry Cavill Superman, which I think is the worst Fondjoy figure that I have. I used to lump Harley Quinn with him, but tell you the truth, I think she looks a little bit better than him. She's a little bit taller, but God, the Henry Cavill just looks so bad. At least they're doing a 2.0 of him. I'm not aware of them doing a 2.0 of this Harley Quinn. I feel like Fondjoy has sort of 3 stages of figures. The early figures, like the Superman and Harley Quinn, and then they kind of improved with like the Aquaman, Mara, Cyborg, those figures. And then the most recent stuff, Batfleck and Pattinson, are fantastic. These are officially licensed DC products. So Fondjoy had the DC license. They just did a bad job back then and have done an incredible job with the recent releases. And here she is, next to Wonder Woman and Cyborg. I'd say Wonder Woman is probably on par with Henry Cavill and Harley Quinn, although Henry Cavill is definitely worse than them. But I'd say Cyborg here is kind of when they started doing better. He's kind of on par with like the Aquaman and Mara figures. And speaking of Aquaman figures, here she is next to the Jason Momoa Aquaman and Mara. These are from the second Aquaman film, and you can see how much shorter Mara is than Harley Quinn. They definitely got the scale better. And Aquaman looks decent. Not great, but decent. I'd say they're sort of between Harley Quinn and the modern Fondjoy figures. And here she is with the most recent Fondjoy offerings. We have 3 Batfleck figures from Batman vs Superman and Justice League, and then the Pattinson figure from The Batman. These are fantastic. The detail, the texturing, the accessories, the likeness, it is all on point. The scale is good. I mean, look how the Batman vs Superman Batman is smaller than her. I love what Fondjoy is doing nowadays. I really don't like what they did before. But it looks like we have a ton more of these excellent Fondjoy figures on the horizon. And here's a look at my entire Fondjoy collection. Of the older figures, I believe I'm only missing the Dark Knight, Batman, and Joker. And I hear they're pretty bad, but I like to get them and find out for myself. I still don't have the Nightmare Batfleck. That one has been out for a little while, but I'm having trouble securing mine with all that tariff bullcrap going on. And the next one to come out is going to be the Tactical Suit Batfleck from Justice League. He looks pretty nice as well. And there's a ton of stuff coming out in the future. Now stick around. Next is some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how she fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix her with. Since she's a Fondjoy figure, they're somewhere between the 7 and 8 inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller, and I'm going to include as many other Harley Quinn figures as I can during these comparisons. Here she is, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys. And now, with some McFarlane and DC Direct figures. Here's his Harley Quinn, next to a bottle of mustard, and here she is, with some NECA and Mezco figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. Next, with some Mattel and Mafex DC figures. And finally, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends and SH Figure Arts action figures. So overall, it's an okay Harley Quinn figure. She's definitely larger than I'd like. She definitely looks worse than I'd like. The likeness has totally grown on me. I'm not saying it's great. It's probably on the lower end of good, but it's not horrible like I initially thought. Her accessories are pretty good, except the quality control. That hand is definitely supposed to be a right hand, and somehow they mirrored it and made it a left hand. I don't even know how that's possible. She's got all the weapons from the film. Her boots are so damn bad that just really, really hurts the figure. No matter what, it's going to go down a full point for those boots, which are just hideous and so poorly done. Her ass looks bad. The little belt, it just can't get it to stay on the right way. And the little area of her stomach she's showing, just none of it looks good over there. Hell, the collar, I can't get that to stay the right way in the front. Those are not really that big a deal. She has the pistol, and of course it's not removable from the holster, so when she's holding the pistol, she has two of them. I do like some things about her. The tattoos, the fishnets, the lettering on the shirt, Daddy's Little Monster. It's got several good things going for it, but so many bad things to outweigh those. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, and to tell you the truth, I'm probably overrating this thing quite a bit. I'll drop it down to a 5.5. Hell, I want to drop it down to a 5, but she's kind of grown on me. I got her, I don't know, more than a month ago, and I just kind of hated her when I opened her. And upon reviewing her and digging in deep, she's better than I thought, but I thought something like a 4 out of 10, and I'm going to settle her at a 5.5, which is probably a little bit too generous. But like I said, honestly, the face has grown on me a lot since I first opened her. Looking closely, I can actually see some hints of the likeness of Margot Robbie. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.